Between 1914 and 1918, there was a bloody worldwide struggle known as World War I. The Central Powers, which included Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire, fought France and Great Britain. Thanks to new military technologies and the horrors of trench warfare, the Allied powers, Russia, Italy, Romania, Japan, and the United States, saw unprecedented levels of carnage and destruction during World War I, which ended with the Central Powers' defeat and the deaths of over 16 million people in Europe and around the world. Following Germany's unification and absorption of French territory following the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, tensions had been rising throughout Europe. The development of Germany disturbed the balance of power in Europe and sparked a game of alliances. In Bosnia, a Serbian nationalist fighting to overthrow Austro-Hungarian sovereignty over Bosnia killed the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Within a week, World War I broke out, as Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany, accused the Serbian government of being responsible for the attack and declared war on Serbia, which was backed by Russia, allied to France. Germany's strategy, known as the Schlieffen Plan, called for a war on two fronts against France and Russia. It called for rapidly concentrating the majority of its army in the west to defeat France first, then shifting forces to the east before Russia could fully mobilize in Asia. Japan sided with Britain and seized German colonies in China and the Pacific. The Ottoman Empire, a long-standing adversary of the Russian Empire, joined the conflict alongside Austria-Hungary and Germany, creating fronts in the Middle East to control access to oil and the Suez Canal. The German advance reached deep into France, approaching Paris, but was stopped by Franco-British forces at the Battle of the Marne. The defeat meant, following the collapse of German ambitions for a swift triumph in France, both sides built trenches, and the Western Front served as the backdrop for a 3-year war of attrition that saw the first significant use of chemical weapons and gases. Verda, the engagement of the Thumb on the Western Front, and the massive naval engagement of Jutland between the German and British forces in 1916 are examples of World War I battles. The new technology of aviation was initially employed for observation before being progressively employed for bombing and air conflict globally. From 1914 to 1916, European colonies and British dominions, including India, fought in the war. Russia's army launched multiple offensives on the Eastern Front, but was unable to breach the German lines to support geographically isolated Russia. Allied forces attempted to open a sea supply route via the Dardanelles Strait and then launched a land invasion of the Gallipoli Peninsula. Both campaigns failed against Ottoman resistance. Italy, which had previously been a member of the Triple Alliance with Germany and Austria-Hungary, to annex new territories. The 12 Italian offensives along the Isonzo River had little success. German submarines were used to sink military and commercial ships supplying the Allies, including those from the United States, while the Royal Navy imposed a naval blockade on Germany in response to the Central Powers' invasion of Serbia. Additionally, Britain intercepted and transmitted a German telegram to Mexico, offering an alliance against the United States, which had decided to go to war in 1917. Despite the Ottoman victory at Gallipoli and subsequent defeats, Russia's lack of military progress and economic instability culminated in the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, which ended Russian involvement in World War I and later led to the creation of the Soviet Union. Despite Germany's ability to concentrate on the Western Front, Russia was unable to quickly defeat the Allies prior to the arrival of American troops, and the Arab Revolt, supported by the British, forced the Church to sign a treaty with the Allies in October 1918. Additionally, Austria-Hungary's internal disintegration as a result of growing nationalist movements among its diverse population and the surrender of its allies forced Germany to seek an armistice in November 1918, ending World War I. The war also contributed to the spread of the Spanish flu, a severe pandemic that improved America's economic standing and caused the collapse of four major: the German, Austro-Hungarian Empire. As nations like Poland, Finland, Turkey, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia were established, the Russian and Ottoman empires were dismantled. The Treaty of Versailles, which was viewed by the German people as a humiliation and laid the foundation for World War II, forced Germany to reduce its army and pay large war reparations because it was solely responsible for the war's damages. World War I reshaped the map of the world forever. But this was only the beginning of the story. If you found this journey through history powerful, don't forget to drop a comment and tell us what surprised you most. Hit like, share this video with someone who loves history, and subscribe so you never miss what happens next. Because the road to World War II starts right where this story ends. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next episode.